School might be a top priority to most people. However, some of the most famous household names, from Mark Zuckerberg to Steve Jobs to Dean Kamen, dropped out before graduating. And there are countless stories of students who have graduated and still cannot find a job, which proves getting a degree is not your golden ticket to becoming a success. Take it from John Campion, a high school dropout whose teachers told him he would never amount to anything after failing out of grade school twice. Well, now he is the co-founder of a billion-dollar company that provides temporary power in areas recovering from disasters. And I want to welcome to Real Biz John Campion. He is the executive chairman of APR. It's so nice to have you with us. So what would you say to all those teachers now that you're running a billion-dollar company?
Well, actually, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, because it got me motivated. And I've spent quite a lot of my life proving them wrong.
Which I think a lot of people who have been told no at one time in their lives, they can go one of two directions. The direction you went, or the direction of they listened to them and then they ultimately proved them right.
Correct.
What do you think it was inside of you that charged you forward?
Look, it's a need to succeed and a wanting to achieve something. And I think I came from Ireland, so I grew up in Ireland and I went to school in Ireland, and I came to America when I was 21. And the great thing about America for me was it was a blank slate. Nobody knew I didn't go to finished high school. Nobody knew I got held back twice in grade school. Nobody knew anything about me. So I was able to reinvent myself, if you will. And this is a great country for doing that, where people will take you at your word so long as you can do what you say you will do. Do what you say you'll do, and this is a country of massive success.
What were the smartest things you did? I mean, do what you say you'll do is a big piece of advice. What were some of the other early things that put you in this direction?
I think being confident without being arrogant. I think that's important. And I think showing a certain amount of assertiveness, stepping up and saying, I'll try that, I'll do that. So risk taking, I think, would be important as well.
You have a very interesting story, multiple acts in your career. What you're doing now, helping to build power plants in places of the world where most people don't even want to visit, is very different from what you started doing when you moved here from Ireland.
That's correct.
Tell us about that.
Well, when I first came here, I was a roadie with rock and roll bands. So I toured with Michael Jackson, Rolling Stones, U2, Kiss, Motley Crue, AC/DC. So I toured with all these acts around the world and North America.
And how did you segue from that to what you're doing now?
Well, as we're touring around the world, and specifically in North America, you'd go into an arena. You could go into Madison Square Garden, and there wasn't enough power for all the lighting. So I said, this is obviously a good business opportunity, because the barriers to entry were relatively low, and the customer expectation was again relatively low, because typically somebody would show up in the Midwest with a generator. Maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't work. So we applied a lot of technology to that, and that technology certainly gave us a very large market share. We then sold that business to the General Electric company, and I went to work for Alstom, formed a business with them called Alstom Power Rental. Subsequently, with Lawrence Anderson, my co-founder, bought that business in 2004, which became APR Energy, took it public on the English Stock Exchange in 2011, and was very fortunate to have some very, very good partners. Soros was an initial investor, as was Albright Capital Management, which is chaired by Secretary Albright, who is still a very, very key investor in our business.
What is APR Energy doing right now?
We're doing business in Angola. We're doing business in Uruguay. We're doing business in Libya. We're doing business in Yemen. We're doing business in Senegal. We're doing business in Botswana. We're doing business in Argentina. We're doing business in Guatemala. So a lot of emerging market economies.
And a lot of places where, not all of them, but definitely a handful of them, where the U.S. has a travel ban that says, don't go there. Unless you have to, don't go there.
Correct.
So what do you do when you go into these places?
Look, first and foremost, we take care of our personnel. That's first and foremost.
Their safety.
The safety of the personnel and anybody working with us. That's key. Second, obviously, is protecting shareholder value. And we do that by getting payment assurance on letters of credit or insurance on the equipment.
And you're setting up, you're literally going into countries that don't really have a power grid, and you're setting it up in a matter of a week in some cases?
Well, very, very short periods of time, 30 to 60 days typically.
How do you do that?
Well, it's all modular. It's effectively Lego.
You take your roadie background, where you've got all of this modular equipment,
exactly,
and you're bringing it to this world.
And we're doing what we did with the Rolling Stones, which was put up a huge stage and create a stage and create a concert environment in 12 hours. And we're doing that with power plants in countries all over the world, but very, very similar philosophy.
So is that the pitch? You walk in and say, I worked with the Rolling Stones, now Angola, Mr. President or Emperor or whatever it is, king of the land, please allow me to come in with my equipment here.
Well, yeah, it's understanding the urgency of the situation, understanding their need, and understanding that they're under a time crunch, be it a Ramadan or be it Christmas or be it an election cycle. So there's some motivating factor why they want it now. So we're able to say we can do it. We have been awarded numerous patents for our technology for rapidly deploying this equipment and packaging it. So look, I've been extremely lucky. I've worked with some very, very, very skilled people. I've had some great investors. I have 1,000 employees around the world who have done nothing but, build the business and build the brand. And I'm extremely grateful and lucky for what I have. I came to America with $25. I got 26 today, but it's good. No, but it's a great story. And without education, with the willingness to work and the need to work, I think you can be successful.
It's a fascinating story from the guy who was told he wouldn't amount to anything by his grade school teachers, John Campion, APR Energy. It's so nice to see you and to have you here on Real Biz.
Thank you very much. A pleasure.
I think it'll be an inspiration for a lot of people.
Thank you.